Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you the stocks that I bought with my $100 deposit today, and I let M1 do the picking for me based upon my current allocations. And what we're looking at right now, this is my M1 taxable stock brokerage account. My Average Joe Dividends portfolio, this is about 15% of my total net worth. And you can see right now with the current balance, we're almost to that $250,000 mark, almost at $250,000, which is pretty awesome. So we can see just over the last year, the portfolio is done. It's up 18%. We'll take a look at the dividends, almost $10,000 in the last year from this portfolio. And of course, the next year is going to be even higher than that. We'll look at the last 3 months and up 1.64%. The last month up 1.72%. Look at the last week, just slightly down. And then today we had a slightly up day at 0.09%. Of course, one of those was not NVIDIA. It looks like NVIDIA is trending downwards. I think some people are just taking profits. But I think NVIDIA, though, for long term, looks like a pretty solid stock. But of course, what I'm saying and what I'm picking here when I'm buying, this is not investment advice. This is just, I'm just chronicling my journey here in all these videos just to show you how this portfolio is built, as well as all the dividends that I'm receiving. So let's go ahead and jump into the activity log. So we want to see what those buys were. And it looks like there's 2 buys, but one of those buys is going to be waste management with the dividend drip. So that 650 of the 106.50 is from waste management. We'll click here on the 2 buys, and we see waste management there, the 650, and then it all went into SCHD, and I'll show you my allocations and why that happened. So the $100, we'll click on that. It bought just over 1.25 shares, so 1.27 shares of SCHD. And in a little while, we're going to see what that did to my dividend income by buying the 1.27 shares of SCHD, as well as the waste management drip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to my Google Docs spreadsheet. And this tracks all of the positions in my portfolio. And I have them all listed here. They're all arranged by the pay date. And we can see here is the last dividend that was from the 22nd. So right now it's the 24th. So that came in over the weekend. And this is the first opportunity to put this into, drip this back into the portfolio. So we're going to see this 650 that paid out. It's going to increase the next dividend for waste management. And also SCHD, I want to point out, I know one of my last videos, I was trying to pick the day it was going to pay. And I think it's going to do the same thing that it did in 2019, where it paid on July 1st. And let's see, where's that payable? There it is. It's right there in 2019, where the ex-dividend dates, is going to be like the 25th, 26th. So I think tomorrow is when SCHD is going to announce the new dividend, and we'll see what that's going to be. But it's going to kind of mess up on how SCHD has usually been paying me, which has been the last month of every quarter, instead of paying at the end of June, which I thought it was going to. It's going to pay on July 1st. So we're going to see that. We don't know what it's going to be, but 61 cents was the last dividend. I'm predicting 68 cents. We'll see how accurate I am. And I think the 25th is when they're going to announce that. We will see. I'm going to do a video on that and show you how that's going to change my dividend income, because I have SCHD here. I have 1,161 shares in this brokerage account right here, my M1, but I also have an IRA, and I don't want to switch over to that because it releases some kind of personal information on my account, so I can't really show you that, but I can show you on my sheet though. But if you can see here's the 1,161 shares are in this piece right here. We can see the $92,000 here of SCHD. You can see there's the shares, the 1162. But I also have an IRA with M1, and I have it tracking over here in the total net worth. We'll just bounce over here real quick, and I'll show you. There's SCHD right there, and I have an additional 1,815 shares. So with those combined, you're going to see a lot of, it's going to hopefully increase the next dividend by a whole lot. We'll see though. Again, 68 cents is my prediction, but we will see what happens. But back to the tracking sheet. I've gone over this a million times, and we'll just take a look at the dividends paid. And so far in June, we're not even close to being done. We have some big payers like BST is going to hit, and some other smaller ones in there, but up to $230.34. And I also track the cash flow here of this portfolio. You can see right now the monthly is $905, and we're almost annually up to $11,000. So we're going to see these change here real quick. I'm just going to put the 904.34, and then the SCHD. Even though we don't know what the new dividend is, I remember I bought the 1.27 shares. So if the dividend remains the same, we're going to see the change in the next dividend, even though I think it's going to be a lot higher than the 709.65. I just want to show this, kind of illustrate, even though I put in $100 and there's only a 650 dividend drip, it's going to make a little bit of a difference over here. And we also we're going to track this over here on my ledger. Anytime I do any purchases or anything like that, sells, or there's dividend increases, that affects my monthly income. And I have right here the 905.34. It's going to slightly change, maybe add like 25 cents or so per month, maybe not even quite that much, maybe 20 cents. But we're going to put in the new value here, and we'll find the difference here. And the quick way I do that is I go over to M1, go to the Holdings tab, and it shows everything sorted from my largest position, which is SCHD, to the smallest. I just grab here everything here from name and just grab all this data. I'm just going to do a simple paste special onto my sheet. And my longtime viewers, you know what's going to happen, how it does it. I go over to the M1 data tab and just paste it, and it's going to update the information for waste management and SCHD. It's going to change the number of shares. You saw it blink from 1161 to 1162 and change. It also changed waste management as well. All the other positions were left intact because I didn't add anything to them. But I'll leave a link below in this video if you want to use this tracking sheet. And if you use M1 especially, you can see how I'm pulling the information, like the number of shares and market value cost basis with the VLOOKUP table from the M1 data tab. It's pretty slick. I came up with it on my own, and just a quick way so I didn't have to type in the new number of shares, my cost basis, and my average share price. It's all just pasted in there, so it's really nice when I'm buying like 10 or 20 different positions. Boom, I just copy and paste it. It takes the same amount of time. So I don't have to rely on a service, like Plaid, that's 24 hours behind to update that stuff. This is free and it's instant. So you can see here with waste management, 650 is what I received on the 22nd. And the next dividend is going to be 652. Not very much, but take a look at what waste management only pays 1.41% right now in their yield. And you can see the share price, 212. So that 650, it did do something, but it only added the 2 cents. But that's going to pay me the 652 sometime in the third week of September. That's if I don't buy more shares. Then look at in March, that's when they're going to increase their dividends. So even if I don't buy any more shares of waste management, even every March, at least historically, they've been raising that dividend. Let's go take a look at SCHD. Remember the 1.27 shares. Here's the effect here. 709.65 is what it was at. And if the dividend remains the same of 0.611, which I don't think is going to, that's what the new dividend would be. But we can see here, we'll do a quick a little exercise. Let's say it goes up to 68 cents, like I said. We'll see the effect here up to 7.90. So you can see even a couple cents, 7 cents goes a long way to boost that dividend for me. And it's going to be even larger in my IRA with those 1,800 plus shares. And we'll go down, and the last part is to the monthly cash flow average. It also changed the quarterly and annual as well, but it was at 905.34, and we're going to put it at 905.60 over on this tab. And then we'll get the difference here. So 26 cents is what it added to my average monthly income each and every month. I have a feeling it's going to be more because that 1.27 shares of SCHD is going to have a higher dividend in June, September, and of course December. But you can see every little bit helps. The $100 deposit there. And with waste management. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this buy with SCHD. And I was going to show you why it bought here, because what I did is I put a $100 deposit in, and I did auto invest with the fund. So it just took it and it put it in. You can see the actuals in target. Target is what I set. So 66% was what I had the ETFs at. You can see the dividend portfolio, which has most of the individual positions in it, at 27%, so it's overweighted. And also the 12 more dividends, which has Nvidia in it, that's also overweighted. So it's going to put the money first into the ETFs until it catches it up and overweights it as much as probably this dividend portfolio before it can put money into the dividend portfolio. And then once it catches up to the 12 more dividends, it'll put money into that. So we'll see we can see we're underweighted here, and we'll see what was underweighted within, and you can see that SCHD is 0.2% underweighted compared to BST, which is 0.1% overweighted. So that's how that works. So subscribe to the channel so you'll see my next video either Thursday or Friday, depending on my free time. I will do a buy where I pick 5 stocks, and I'll put $20 into each of those. And so then it doesn't matter what the target or actual weightings are. I'm just going to put $20 into what I think is on sale, or what it could be a stock too I want to beat the X dividend date on and get paid a little bit more in dividends. And so to close this out, I'm going to go over my total net worth real quick. And I've heard people say before, why have all these holdings in this portfolio? You should just have ETFs. Why not just invest in a total stock market index? And I'll show you on my total net worth that I am quite well invested in those. And again, this is 15% of my total net worth, these positions here. And you can see all of them, and there's a total of 53 of them. You can see my cost basis and the value of the portfolio and my unrealized gain within it. But just want to highlight, again, that most of my net worth is tied into these boring ETFs. You can see here I have a Vanguard account. You can see the value of it. I have taxable as well as IRA and Roth IRA. You can see the sum is $436,000 in those ETFs that people suggest I invest into. Same over here. This is my current 401k. Most of it is in a Fidelity S&P 500 index fund. And then at M1, I also have an IRA, and you can see it's in VU, VTI, SCHD, BST. And you can see the amount there, $647,000. Here's the dividend portfolio. Have a little bit of money in M1 savings, that 5%. Synchrony, here's my emergency fund. Here's my immediate spending fund. Here's my home value. I do have a mortgage on it, and that's the outstanding mortgage amount. And of course, that's subtracted out of my net worth. And you can see right now, worth just a little bit over $1,641,000. But of course, this changes every day. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. You can see the breakdown too. Very heavily invested in stocks, not a whole lot in home equity compared to my total net worth. I think that's a great thing. Most of Americans just have all of their net worth tied into their home equity, and you really can't produce wealth out of your primary residence unless you're renting rooms, and most people don't do that. You can see here's my cash position here, And here's bonds as well. Not very bond heavy. I think cash right now paying 4.755% is better than bonds. But if that does change, where we go back to the low interest rate environment, I may jump into bonds. We'll see. You can see pre-tax, I was a 401k millionaire, just about $600 below that, because it went down just a little bit from last week. I was just over that mark. You can see my after-tax $643,000, and then you can see that breakdown into U.S. and international. Very heavy into U.S. Now, I've explained before the reason for that is most large cap U.S. companies are international anyway. And I've been tracking things too, like since November 2022, I've been tracking my W-2 income compared to my expenses and try to get, always have a positive with that. This is not even counting my dividend income at all, but this line over here counts that, and we can see the dividends here. Like for May, I had $1,400, and that includes what I get from the dividend portfolio. So the dividend portfolio gave me $641.10, but I was also receiving dividend and interest from everything else. Where it's black, they're not paying me every single month, and you can see like the ETFs are paying quarterly. So, but the dividend portfolio pays me every month because I have different stocks paying me a paycheck there. We can take a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of the dividends real quick and do like a kind of a count up over here, maybe from like the last year. We'll go from May 24 to June 23. So take a look at those total dividends. You can see the sum down there in the lower right hand corner just from dividends. That's not my W-2. $41,871.50 from all of my investments. That's interest and dividends, and it's counting my IRA and 401k in there as well. But $41,000, and I'm right now I'm 51 years old, so I have 8 more years of building up that dividend income before I'm going to really start drawing from it. So even if I start drawing from the dividend portfolio, my IRA income is still going to go up. But I just kind of wanted to illustrate that, even though I concentrate mostly on the dividend portfolio. So that's all I wanted to show you guys. And again, what I bought, it was just the two. It was SCHD, and it's great timing because SCHD is going to announce their new dividend either tomorrow or the next day. But you can see SCHD there, and this was a dividend drip into Waste Management. So thanks again for sticking to the end, and let me know in the comments below what you're going to be buying this week, and also let me know what your prediction is for SCHD for their next dividend. We'll take a look here real quick, just a little bit of the more recent history. So in Q1 it was 61 cents, in December is 74 cents, and we can take a look at last year. What it was at 66 cents, so I'm saying 68. Just kind of being kind of conservative with how much the dividend's going to be. If it's more, I'm not going to argue with it, but we'll see. So that's all I had. Thanks again, everybody. I hope everyone has a great week.